What is up, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys is another top 5 video. Today we have support. Support is a pretty open role at the moment, to be completely honest. I think there's a lot of things that are like viable in support. Not all of them are as good as others, which is what I'm here to tell you guys about. So, of course, this is targeted at ranked, so top 5 for supports for you to play in ranked. Keep in mind, just as a whole, support is a role that is hard to carry the game on. Just how it is. You can do your role really well and you can make your teammates' jobs very easy, but it's not always the easiest to force your team to win games. So just something to keep in mind. But again, some of these heroes will be better at that than others. So starting us off with some honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 is going to go to Steel. Steel is a pretty good tank support. It's a little bit harder to play in laning phase, but as the game goes on, you become a very strong engage character. Tank supports are pretty good right now, which you guys will see when we get into the top 5. Steel, in my opinion, just doesn't quite make the list as far as support goes. Next honorable mention is Muriel. Muriel is another really good support, but she requires a little bit more team play to get a lot of value out of. The main value of Muriel is that you usually want to pair her with an offlaner like Grux, where Grux can fight just willy-nilly, right? Even if he doesn't have wards, etc. And he pretty much always wins the 1v1 period because he's Grux. But if the jungler shows up, Muriel can ult in, make it a 2v2, and that's kind of how you play the champ. So without that team communication, it can be a little hard to get full value out of her. And then the last honorable mention is going to be just to like mages. This is mostly Gadget Bellica, who I think are okay in support. I don't think right now you need damage from the support role. I don't think it's super important. There's a lot of damage when you guys see the top 5 jungler list tomorrow. You guys will kind of understand what I mean. There's a lot of damage in offlane and a lot of damage in jungle right now. You don't really need more damage from your support. So I think the mages, they're okay. They have a very easy laning phase. So if you just never play support, they're still okay to pick up. But there are some other characters, again, on the top 5 who also have very easy laning phases. So we'll get into those as well. So starting us off on the top 5, let's get into the build screen, is going to be Narbash. Narbash is he's a support that a lot of you guys might not even expect to be on here just because he is a stat character. That's essentially what this character does. What Narbash does is he gives your whole team stats. He gives them healing, he gives you move speed. The augment that you're going on Narbash is Berserker Beat. It's the one that gives attack speed when you use your march. It is very good. And you give your team stats, and you basically outstat the opponent. He also has very, very easy crowd control with Thunk. It is a point and click. I mean, it's not a lock-on, but fairly easy stun to hit. Pretty fast, very good peel tool. He has a very good ultimate that is usually used for peeling out your carry. You ult, and it's a very powerful slow. It has a knock up at the end. It kind of demands crowd control to be used on you, which means that crowd control, you're eating at least one crowd control for the rest of your team as well. This is the one character on here on the list today that I will have 2 builds for, because there are 2 ways to play this character. So as far as augments go, you are going Berserker Beat to give your team attack speed. The minor augments are going to be Divination, and a lot of supports are using Roamer right now. I think it's pretty good. Just lets you walk around the map faster. As support, you don't want to just be, you don't want your feet to be glued to duo lane, excuse me. You want to be able to get around the map, and Roamer does make that just a tiny bit easier. So I do recommend it. The first build that we're going to be looking at is kind of like the Enchanter build, where you play for extra healing, extra move speed. Your move speed scales off of magic power, so you get a little extra move speed from it, lots of cooldowns. You're not playing quite as much for your ultimates, because this build is not going True Silver Bracelet. You're basically playing to kind of play backline behind your team. And on most of these, you are going to be going Sanctification. I think this crest is really good. Alternatively, you can go Leafsong, which is also a very good crest. I would only go Leafsong in games where if you have like Greystone Narbash, or a Greystone Rampage Narbash, right, on your team. Leafsong becomes very good. You have teammates that want to walk at people. It's very, very good. Sanctification is the safer option. I think it's going to be a little bit more consistent, but Leafsong is a good alternative as well if you want to use it. So even on the Enchanter build, I think you're going Sank over something like Tranquility. I just think it's generally better. As far as the build goes, you're going to be starting with Marshall. This item's really good. Keep in mind your Augment is giving attack speed to your team, so Marshall just pairs with that really well. Crystal tier, really, really good. Second item on this build. It just gives you everything you need. Gives you 70 magic power and 25 ability haste. Yeah, is a pretty good item for a support right there. Windcaller is usually next. This is your main haste core, right? This is 15. This is 25 as long as you're healing an ally. So, 40 haste here. That's a pretty good start. Windcaller, not a haste item, but gives mana regen power, gives your team a little bit of extra move speed. Very good item. Everbloom makes your team a little bit tankier. Very solid item. You're going this on pretty much any character that has any healing. Tainted Totem is a really good option here. And then I would usually end this off with a tank item anyway. This is usually going to be Raiment of Renewal, which is just a pretty solid stat stick in terms of stats, right? I mean, it's HP. It's kind of a one-stop shop to feel kind of tanky, right? Obviously, on this build, you're not going to be super tanky, but it gives you a little bit of tank stats. Just a side note as well, for supports, keep in mind, in a 30-minute game or a 25-minute game, you're probably only hitting 4 items. So just keep that in mind. These first, 3-4 items on all of these builds are going to be your core items. Realistically, items number 5 and 6 almost don't matter in the majority of games because you simply don't get to build them. But these are flex slots, right? This could be this Tainted Totem if you don't need anti-heal. This could be Stonewall, right? If you want to be tankier. It's very open. These are just going to be my recommendations for these last 2 slots. The first 4 items are the ones that matter the most in these builds. So this is what I'd go on an Enchanter Narbash. Again, on this build, you'd want to be sitting in the back. You want to be sitting on top of your carry and just sitting there and waiting to thunk ult whoever jumps on them. As far as the kind of tanky Narbash build, I use tanky in air quotes because you're still... It's almost like building Bruiser on Narbash. I mean, you're building half tank, half enchanter. It's basically the thought process behind the tanky build is that it allows you to get your ultimate off. You're going True Silver first. You're going Tainted Totem second. Both of these items have a little bit of HP on them. Gives you a bigger shield, which is very nice. And then you're going into some actual kind of tank items. Again, kind of air quotes tank items. Raiment of Renewal, again, the HP here gives you a bigger shield from True Silver Bracelet. You have the shield from Sanctification that also scales off your HP. These are just really good. This core 3 items, it pretty much lets you get your ult off in every fight, and your ult is very good. This is a little bit more of a frontlining build. You have a little bit less mana regen, so just keep an eye on your mana bar if you have your heal turned on for a very long period of time. Void Conduit, also really good. Just a tiny bit of extra healing. Mostly, it gives you a decent amount of mana regen. Decent tank stats, a little bit of magic armor, a little bit of HP, some move speed, some haste, right? Decent base stats. It's a cheap item, and it gives you a little bit more mana regen, which is always nice on Narbash. After that, it's Frost Guard. This item, again, now that it has HP on it, this is a pretty good item just for, again, all around just being a tiny bit tankier. This is pretty solid. As far as your last item goes, this one is a bit of a flex slot on this. I personally, I like to go another Enchanter item here. I think this is usually going to be Everbloom. This can also be Crystal tier if you want it to be. If your team has a lot of ability-focused characters or a lot of characters that really, really like the extra magic power, stuff like that, it can be Crystal tier. I prefer Everbloom on this one. Just helps you keep your team alive just that little bit better. And again, this is kind of almost playing a frontlining Narbash. You still don't want to be in the very front. You want to be, instead of standing on top of your carry, you kind of want to be standing in between your carry and your front line, right? You kind of want to be in that middle of your team, and that's where you want to sit with a build like this. It just lets you get your ultimate off. Still pretty solid. It's kind of just personal preference on which one you prefer. They are both quite good. So knock yourself out with Narbash. Pretty easy support to play as well if you aren't comfortable playing characters that kind of have to hit abilities, right? You got 3 big circles and a 1 single target thunk. That's pretty easy to land. So moving on to number 4, we have Riktor. I think Riktor is quite good at the moment. I think that the 50-50 nature of Riktor is that if you hit all your hooks, you instantly win the game, right? If you miss all your hooks, you instantly lose the game. That right now is almost like untrue. Tank supports are really good at the moment, and the reason for that is that there's so much damage being played in offlane and so much damage being played in jungle that having a tank support on your team to just eat damage in a fight is really strong. So picking a character like Riktor, you are probably going to die in every team fight in the game. Every time there's a 5v5, even most 4v4s, you're probably dead. If you're alive, it should mean that your team just insta won the fight and the enemy team is entirely wiped, right? You're probably dead. But as long as you ult somebody, right? If you hit a 1 or a 2-man ultimate with your teammates behind you and you CC them, even if you hook after your ult just to chain CC, you can if you hit a hook, right, then it's obviously better. But you can kind of AFK your lane right now on tanks, and there's not a lot of punishment to it as long as you're playing safe around your health bar. Riktor, again, if you are playing a tank and the enemy team pushes into you, which is kind of what happens in duo lane because you don't have as much wave pressure because you're playing a melee. If you're standing on your tower line as Riktor, the enemy team kind of just has a no-go zone, right? They can't step up to you because you're on your tower line. Even if you've missed every hook that game, they have to keep it in the back of their mind that, you know, what if he hits one? Because it's a free kill. So he is fairly consistent right now, all things considered. As far as augments go, most of the time you're going to be going brutal chains. This is the one that gives you the cooldown reduction on your hook when you hit it. It's quite good in lane. It gives you a little extra hook range as well, which people don't play around very well. The other one that you can go is Wanton Warden, which is pretty good late game. It just, your laning phase is going to be a little bit worse. It doesn't do very much until like level 10, 12, right? When the healing starts to ramp up a little bit. But late game, it is very good, and it will make you very tanky. So if you think you can make it through laning phase just fine, Wanton Warden is very good. Otherwise, go Brutal Chains. As far as minor augments, this is a character that has to go Regenerator. Even after they giga nerfed Regenerator, you're still going Regenerator, and you're going Roamer on Riktor. You want to be able to move around the map. So as far as Crest goes, this one is interesting because you can legitimately go any of the 3 tank crests for support. Sanctification, again, like I said, with Narbash, a very safe option. Generally speaking, going to be your default. Leafsong, a little bit worse on this character, but still okay. The fact that you get move speed from your E means that if you press your Electrocute and then you press Leafsong, you are fast as hell and you can track down anyone in the game, which can be very scary as the enemy team, right? Riftwalkers, obviously good on Riktor as well. Rifty's ult is a very good combo. Most of the time, again, I think your default is Sanctification here. As far as items go, this is usually going to be Dynamo first. I think this item is really good. You have a lot of CC. It makes sure that people die when they get hit by your crowd control. That extra little bit of damage it's more impactful than you'd think it is. Truthfully, it is more impactful than you would think. Your next item here is usually going to be Raiment of Renewal. You do have to be tanky on Riktor. There's really just no way around it. You have to be able to live long enough to throw hook and ult, right? You have to get most of your ultimate off. It's fine if you die after your ult, but you have to be able to throw hook and ult. And if you're not tanky, you're going to die if you throw your hook. So just keep that in mind. It's a little bit rough if you get behind, but Unbroken Will, really good on this character. Really, really good. If you get CC'd, you get more armor. That's just a win-win. You are going to get CC'd because you are Riktor. There's literally nothing you can do about it. Gaia Greaves, good for the same reason. This is a 40% tenacity core, which is really, really strong. Just lets you get CC'd a little bit less. Gaia Greaves, good for letting you walk around the map more. Again, on this character, you want to be moving around the map. This is a good item that lets you do it. Frostguard, like I said with Narbash, just a good all-around defense item. Riktor enjoys it a lot. Double defense plus a little bit of HP is very nice. Then your last item, this is usually going to be Stonewall. I think this is probably the best one. This is a flex slot. This can be Galaxy Greaves even if you feel like you want a little bit more mobility. This can be a magic defense item, right? This could be something like Void Helm. This could be something like Crystalline Curious if they have Iggy. It's pretty much whatever defense you need. Do you need physical defense? Go Stonewall. Do you need magic defense? Go Crystalline, that kind of thing. It is your flex slot. But Riktor is pretty good at the moment. So Moving on to number 3. This is going to be Zinx. I think Zinx is quite good. She got a really good augment in the augment patch. She got an augment. It's called Disc of Demise. I wrote it down because I was not going to remember it. It makes her stun bounce farther. It makes it bounce farther from the target that it hits, which is really it makes it more consistent on hitting people off the bounces. It also reduces the cooldown whenever you hit anything with it, which is really strong. That is really good. Early game, you can get this reduced by like almost 50% if you hit both people in duo lane. It's pretty crazy. It is a really, really good augment. As far as minor augments go, this is one character where you are going Divination. Where you are increasing your heals and shields. You are also going Alchemist. This is a character who really likes mana regen. He really loves mana regen, so I do think Alchemist is worth it on Zinx. You also have like a fairly low cost ability to proc your Alchemist, which is your E. It's very long range, very consistent. You get a lot of Alchemist procs on it, which just gives you a little bit more poke, more stuns, more heals. As far as crests go, this is the first like enchanter on the list, right outside of Narbash. You're usually going to have Silentium. This crest is really, really good. You can silence junglers to stop them from smiting objectives, right? They can't smite Fangtooth while they're silenced. It's very good. Point and click silence really messes up a lot of characters that want to dive your backline. Really, really good. In games against Faye or Aurora or even Riktor, Reclamation is also a very good option. So this is an option. Your default is probably going to be Silentium, though. As far as build goes, this is going to look pretty similar to the Narbash build. This is going to be Marshall first. Really good item. Just gives you pretty much everything you want. This is one of the best first items for support in the entire game. Second item, I think this is usually Windcaller. Because Zinx heals are single target, it's really easy to proc Windcaller on purpose, right? On Narbash, when your heal, your Song of the People, is turned on permanently, basically, people are kind of getting Windcaller at random times, right? If they walk out, if they walk back into it or something like that, they get another proc, that kind of thing. On Zinx, it's really easy to proc this on purpose. You heal somebody, they get some move speed. You can get them in, get them out just a tiny bit faster, and that is pretty valuable. As far as after this, Galaxy Greaves. Where is Galaxy Greaves? Galaxy Greaves is a really good item. It has all the stats you want on it. Cooldown, haste, what cooldown is haste. I was going to say mana regen. Mana regen, haste, double defense, really good item. Gives you a little bit of extra movement around the map. It also just gives you the jump. You can avoid a lot of damage by simply pressing spacebar when you have Galaxy Greaves. You can avoid a lot of damage. You dodge 1, maybe 2 carry autos. You dodge an ability here or there. It's really very strong, and it just has very solid base stats on it for a character like Zinx. After this, I think most of the time you're going Spellbreaker. This is a weird option, but you have to keep in mind that you're playing a character who kind of has to sit in auto attack range of your front line because your ultimate is auto attack range. And so if you want to be able to res your frontliners, you have to be close to them to heal them and res them. And to do that, you're not tanky. So having a Spellbreaker shield is very valuable. It also makes it so that if you're just sitting out of combat and you still have your shield gives you extra magic power while it's up, which means your heals are more effective. So you get a lot of value off this item as Zinx. Very, very strong. Next, you're going something like Dynamo. Again, like I said earlier, your first 4 items are your core build on these supports. Dynamo just makes it so that whoever you hit with your stun just dies a little faster. Same as Riktor. It's one of those where you don't really feel this 8% a whole lot, but it does matter. It is very impactful, and you will enjoy having it. And then your last item, this is a little bit of a flex slot. Usually, this is Everbloom, like I was saying on Narbash. This is just a really good item. You heal people. You heal your carry 1 time, and they get 5% damage mitigation. Like, that's more than you would think. It does more work than you would think it does. It's similar to Dynamo, where because it's just a numbers increase, you don't necessarily feel it all the time, but it is doing a lot for you. So again, this is what I would recommend last 2 items on Zinx if you get to that point in the game. But yeah, very strong character, very good laning phase, good poke, annoying in team fights. Res is super annoying. It messes with characters like Sereth and Fangmao a lot because if you res someone who gets Fangmao ulted, he doesn't get a reset, right? Same with Sereth. If you res someone about to die to Sereth, she doesn't get the passive reset. And that can really mess with those characters who want to get their one and kind of snowball a fight. It really messes with them. They have to choose, do I sit here for a second and a half or 2 seconds and wait for them to be res and try and kill them again? Am I going to die? It messes with them a lot. She's a very good character for disrupting dives, and she's very good in laning phase, so she's fairly easy to play as well. Moving on to number 2, this is going to be Dekker. This is a character that just cannot seem to ever hit the bottom of the support charts. Having an infinite range stun that leads into a true combo ultimate, it might be really good, guys. On top of that, you also have Cage. Cage is like a low-key, really broken ability, right? It's a very good ability if you get good at using it to block off chokes. Like, think of Fangtooth Stairs, right? You can block that entire thing off with Cage. Really good. Get good at using it, and you can basically win fights with Cage, and it's very good. Your laning phase is also very strong. You have... Sorry, I just hit my mic. You have good wave clear with your Q if you want to shove waves. You can also sit back. You have an infinite range stun, right? So you can just keep throwing it, and you're fishing, right? You're fishing. If you hit one, now you can ult them and they die. If you miss 10 times in a row, nothing bad really happens to you, to be honest, right? So very good character. As far as augments go, you're usually going Ionic Surge, which is the augment that makes her ultimate. It makes the stun radius of her ultimate a little bit bigger, and it also shreds armor when you stun people with your ultimate. And keep in mind, if you stun ball somebody and drop ult on their head, they're getting stunned for like 2.5 seconds, and that's really good. They're also getting armor shredded that whole time, which is also really good. It's a really good augment, just makes your combo more easy to do. It also just makes it so that they take more damage when they get hit by it. As far as minor augments, you're going Technocrat most of the time. This character doesn't really have good options for minor augment 1, so usually it's just Technocrat. Gives you your abilities a tiny bit faster. You're autoing a lot on this character anyway. And then for a minor augment 2, you're going Roamer. Again, another character most supports do, but another character that really enjoys moving around the map. As far as the build goes, for your Crest, usually this is going to be Silentium. Again, if you stun somebody and then you ult them, they're CC'd for 2.5, 3 seconds. And then if you silence them, they're CC'd for another second. And it's really annoying. It's really annoying. It's very frustrating to play against, to just be locked down that long. Very, very good Crest. You can go Leafsong as well. It is a good Crest, like Leafsong and Rifties are both good Crests to have on Dekker. It just makes you play a little bit more of an engaged style, which is good, do not get me wrong. It's a little bit harder to play. Like, if you are new to support and you're learning Dekker, I wouldn't recommend going the Rifties build, because the combo, it can be a little bit hard to pull off. You have to position a little different, and it's just a more difficult play style. Maybe a higher skill ceiling, right? Maybe you can get more out of it, but it's a little bit harder. For most new players, I would recommend this just being Silentium and get used to silencing whoever jumps on your carry, and then they can't use abilities, and then you usually get a free stun because now they can't dodge it. It's very good. It's much easier to play. This is what I would recommend. As far as builds go, I was looking at a bunch of Dekker builds. When I make these videos, guys, just by the way, I usually talk to a bunch of top players in the role, right? Outside of maybe mid lane, just because that's the role that I play competitively. I talk to the top players in those roles. So that's where I'm getting these lists, these builds from, just so that everyone's aware. There's a lot of Crescelia Dekker going around. Gives you your cooldowns back really quickly, especially your Cage cooldown is like 20 seconds, 22 seconds, rank 1, which is really long. So getting a little bit of percentage cooldown on that is very, very nice. You get it back much faster. This has very good base stats on it, a little bit of power, lots of mana regen. It's pretty much what you want, and it is quite good on her. As far as second item goes, this is Dynamo every time. Especially when you have the ultimate augment on Dekker, stunning somebody and making them take increased damage on top of shredding their armor is really good. It is really good. It's the way the effect stacks, it's like almost exponential, right? They have less armor, which is less damage reduction, and they're taking increased damage against their less damage reduction. It's really good. The math works out really well for that to be a very, very good item. on Dekker. Next up, most of the time, this is Timewarp. You're playing a very cooldown reliant character. Having more cooldowns is always better. Again, this gives you mana regen. You can just, once you have Timewarp online on this build, you can just throw abilities. You will never be out of mana. You can just throw abilities. Your stun is on a 5-second cooldown without hitting a Crescelia auto. It's really, really good. Highly recommended. As far as your fourth item goes, this is Galaxy Greaves every time. Again, I talked about this with Zinx. Really good base stats on this item for most supports. And on top of that, again, just being able to jump and then double jump. You can mess with people. You can play mind games. Being in the air that long, you can be in the air for like a second and a half on Dekker with Galaxy Greaves plus your passive. It gives you your cooldowns back. It lets you dodge damage, right? Like I said, Galaxy Greaves, just pressing spacebar in a fight, you can dodge so much damage, especially against players who, if you're in gold, where the players mechanically are not as good at the game, they will just miss when you press Galaxy Greaves. You press spacebar and they'll just miss, and you take way less damage. Very, very good item. Highly recommended. As far as your last two items, again, these are the items that, like, kind of almost you'll never get to on support, but usually this is going to be Tainted Scepter, a solid damage item. For a character like Dekker, you want the Tainted itself is fine. Someone else on your team probably has Tainted at this point, but a solid damage item for the late game on Dekker. If you full combo like the enemy mid laner at this point in your build, if you just stun, ult, and Q them, and then auto them a couple times while they're stunned, you do half HP them. I mean, you get half their HP off the bat. It's really good. You can just do that to be annoying because your ult is on such a low cooldown at this point, and it is super annoying. And then last item, I like Megacosm. I think this is really good. It just makes it so that when you are just tossing abilities, because again, on Dekker, that's all you have to do. You just have to click your buttons. You just have to click them. Just keep clicking them. Never stop clicking them. And when you click them and you have Megacosm, it doesn't matter how much power you have because this is doing HP damage, and that's really good, right? It does a deceptive amount of damage throughout a fight. If you hit 3 Qs on the enemy Sevarog, your Megacosm probably did 400 or 500 damage, right? It's very good, highly recommended. But yeah, this is usually 2 damage items to end your build. This is pretty much what I'd recommend. If you really don't need Tainted, this slot would probably be Spellbreaker. But usually this is Tainted. So, very good character, very good laning phase, very new player friendly as well for Dekker. The last character on our list, number 1, this is going to be a little bit of a harder to play character. Like, if you're brand new to learning support, I would probably recommend Dekker. But number 1 on this list, it could not go to anybody else. Even after the nerfs, it's Mourn. Even after all the nerfs, it just has to be Mourn. Again, slightly harder to play than Dekker, and the main reason is you're a melee support. If you play against a ranged support, you just have to play the lane properly. You have to play safe. You have to play back. They get pressure because they have a ranged support, and you can take a lot of damage if you walk up to the wave. Mourn kind of turns that off. His passive gives him a lot of healing, and then on top of that, you have your Contagion, your Q, to heal even more and poke a little bit, and it's a really good ability. It increases your team's armor. It decreases the enemy team's armor. It's a really good ability. As far as augments goes, you are going the augment that makes your ultimate apply your Contagion. When you press your ultimate, it applies your Contagion, your Q, to the entire enemy team. That's really good. It lets you get 2 Qs in a fight instantly, which is very, very strong. You want to be ulting on Mourn before the fight starts. Like, right when your front line wants to go in is when you should be ulting. Right when the fight breaks out. It's really strong. It's really annoying to play against. And it's very, very good. If you want to try playing Spider Mourn, it is very good. You have to be a good player. You have to be a good player. I would practice it in casual before you bring it into ranked. It is a little bit harder to play. A little bit. It is significantly harder to play, in my opinion, than just normal Mourn. But Spider Mourn is also good. Again, for newer players, I would recommend going the Ultimate Aug. It is very consistent. As far as minor augments go, you are going Divination. I know you don't have a lot of healing, but I think it is worth it because generally speaking, you're also going Sanctification, which is another shield. So as far as minor augment 2, you're usually going Roamer. You can go Alchemist as Mourn and get a little bit of mana back, but it's bugged. It does not, Alchemist doesn't proc on Mourn's Contagion on his Q, your main poke ability. It doesn't proc. So you don't get the mana back by tossing your bees onto the enemy, which is a bummer. If it worked on that, Alchemist would be pretty good. Right now, I think you're going Roamer until that gets fixed. As far as the build goes, this is going to be Sanctification 99% of games. I do think Leafsong is pretty good on him, but I think Sank is just such a good item. You're building so much HP on this character that I think it just has to be Sanctification. I think it's just the best. As far as items go, I really, really, really like Raiment first. A lot of people you'll see going Dynamo or Hexbound Bracers first. The Hexbound Bracers thing, I do think it's good. It makes the character hard to play. He doesn't need to be, right? You're playing... Mourn is a really, really, really hard character to kill. You can be out of position as support and you live for a really long time. He's really hard to kill. If you go Hexbound Bracers first, I think you give up a lot of that hard to kill ability. And especially in ranked, I think that's a downside. I think it's much better to just go Raiment first. Your second item is going to be Dynamo, because again, you're playing a character with multiple CC abilities. Dynamo is very good. And then you are going to go into a couple of enchanter items. Everbloom is really, really good. Again, your Contagion already gives your team bonus armor. Giving them bonus damage mitigation is just the cherry on top. It's a very strong item on Mourn. Your next item is usually going to be Galaxy Greaves. It sounds really goofy, like, oh, Galaxy Greaves Mourn. But again, pressing Galaxy Greaves gives you basically 1 second off your cooldowns by the time you hit the ground, which is really good. It's 1 second where you take significantly less damage, and you get your cooldowns back, which is very good on a character like Mourn. Your passive is good, but your auto attacks are not, so you really need your abilities. Really good item. Again, very solid base stats on this character. I do really like Vanguardian as well. Again, these first 4 items are going to be your core. These last 2 items are a little bit of flex slots. Vanguardian, it gives armor to your team. What does Mourn already do? He gives armor to your team. He gives Everbloom passive to your team. It's really good. When you press Q, if you have Vanguardian on Mourn, if you press your Contagion and you get it on your carry, and you're standing next to them with Vanguardian, they're getting like 25 extra physical armor. I mean, that's half an item's worth of physical armor onto your carry. It's really annoying to play against as a dive hero. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. As a dive hero, if you're playing something like Fang Mao and the enemy Mourn simply just presses his Q on their carry, you kind of lose after that. I mean, it's hard to do enough damage to kill them at that point. It is very good. Last item here is usually going to be Unbroken Will. Very good tenacity item. With Vanguardian, this gives you, your 40% tenacity core. You're going to be getting CC'd, getting a little bit of extra armor while you're CC'd is quite good. So I do really like Unbroken Will last. But this is, again, 4 item core. These last 2 are a little bit of flex slots, but this is what I would recommend. And that's it. So I hope you guys are enjoying these top 5 videos. It seems like you guys are, just based off the comment section. I hope you guys are enjoying. So I'll stay active in the comments. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, just let me know. So hopefully you guys enjoy. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. But as always, I've been Pinzo. This video's done, so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.